select ready. So Yeso, RMC, talking through the action.
All right, folks, already through the first phase of bans here, and to likely no one's surprise, Pain attacking the solo lanes, getting that Poppy off the board. The Jace also taken away, which interestingly enough, RMC over the last week or so has jumped pretty heavily in priority. We've seen a lot of it in the mid lane, so that one will be taken off the table. The first pick for Pain is going to be the Rel.
Yeah, things have changed up a lot. We see the Ivern ban actually come from Furia as well. I think Karaoke has shown that he's really proficient on that champion and is just an absolute menace. You can't really punish him too hard on it, even though Invades have succeeded against Karaoke on that Ivern. It's not enough. The Lucian ban actually surprises me a lot, and I wonder what's been happening in scrims this week, because B-Boy has traditionally struggled with Lucian here in CBLOL, at least this split, and the last this year actually. So seeing that come through kind of makes me think that IU and Zai really want a winning matchup. This was not necessarily the lane I thought you'd pick when you ban a Lucian Tristana, but it is a very safe lane. A lot of utility to come through, and that makes me a bit worried when we're just talking about Tuts and IU as the big carries for Furia.
Yeah, and important to note, folks, if you were around for the first few weeks of the split and then maybe took a break and you're back, first of all, welcome back. Hey, CBLOL has been incredibly compelling, and I think last weekend was the most exciting weekend of CBLOL action we've had all split long. I would even argue all year long. But one thing you may have missed is early on in the split, it was that triumvirate of Enchanter supports. Yumi, Milio, Lulu, drawing a ton of bans. The only surviving member of that trio right now is the Milio, has been drawing a lot of bans as of late. We have basically not seen the Yumi or Lulu at all here for a few weeks of Furia, picking that one up alongside the Ashe, and as RMC mentioned, ton of utility brought by that bottom lane. Pain gonna go back to the Ahri pick for Dunkedo, and I want to give credit because last week during the game against Loud, Rude and I were questioning whether that utility build for the Ahri was going to be up to snuff for Dunkedo to be effective in that game. I would argue it was. Certainly less damage than you can bring with that pick, but it felt like he was making plays left and right on this RMC.
Yeah, and Dunkedo has been such a useful player on this Ahri because he can go damage, but when B-Boy are the main carries, that gives you that flexibility. Now, we do see the Annie coming through from Tuts. This was the sort of handshake we saw throughout the beginning of the split where Annie and Ahri were traded back for. Tuts is terrifying on this Annie, and I don't know if I feel comfortable that Pain kind of let that one through and then just pick the handshake Ahri to come through, especially when you've already got that engage from that Ashe long range. Now, Pain, they are still looking potentially for a jungler and a top lane, and potentially because Rel can jungle, and frankly, against Milio, I would almost want to see that Rel in the jungle instead, because Milio can make it very difficult for Rel to try and find her engages. Furia, on the other hand, looking for the top and jungle as well, so no jungle pressure really. Instead, both sides kind of try and pinch that top lane pool instead.
Yeah, really interesting to see, especially because so many teams have been early picking junglers as of late that have risen to the top. I know we had a lot of Wukong at the start of the split, but it has been Maokai and Sejuani, really, that everybody has been more than happy to trade as of late. Important to note, Furia did take that Ivern off the table that has been so successful for Karaoke as of late, but focus towards the top lane, though. Furia taking one jungler off the table. They don't want to give that Vi to Karaoke that he has been very successful on in the past.
Yeah, and on top of that, for Pain, the reason why I kind of wanted a jungle pinch was because you picked a Kai'Sa, right? You're going in, and we've seen how effective Maokai can be against those compositions. Even if you can't tag up the Kai'Sa, you can't stop anybody else from following up, and Good, never mind, what was I talking about? This is Good, man. He likes his carries, he likes his damage. He's not going to pick Sejuani Maokai. I think he has 2 games of Maokai this entire split. So, picking the Wukong instead, still a really good response, though, into engaged compositions. With the Annie, with the Wukong right now, I am very worried if B-Boy ever tries to engage.
I mean, you've got go buttons galore here for Furia. You haven't even picked your top laner yet. Also, do want to note, love that Furia banned away the Gnar from Weiser. It's been one of his best picks. It's also been kind of his default safety pick. While so many top laners have been defaulting to the Renekton as of late, Weiser really hasn't been in that camp. It's been the Gnar. He does go for the Jax here, and you talked about carry picks. Rumble is one of those, and it's going to go to Batao here into the Jax for Weiser.
Well, Rude, we were talking about this, and you know, I'm curious to hear your opinion, because you didn't really weigh in on the Batao, change in strategy recently.
No, and there's a reason for that, I'll say, because I came in and was very high on Batao. First of all, after maybe 1 or 2 games. This guy had me under his little thumb. And then we saw a little bit of a fall off, but then last week we got to see Rumble again. And I think that Vital, first of all, great player. Rumble as well, very overtuned, desirable for any sort of draft. Very happy for Vital picking up the Rumble this game for me, because like worldwide this has become a red side ban, and I think if the CBLOL can catch on, we're going to get to see a lot more spice out of that top lane first of all. The other part that has sort of spoken out to me for Furia again is that they got Melio, and this is another champion that I just as a player have a lot of personal stock in. I've always been advocating that Melio should also be banned on red sides. The fact that Furia have managed to pick up both of those, certainly at the very least to me, say that they've got some strong champions to be taking through the draft first of all.
Fully agree. I think Pain had an answer to the Melio in trying to run that Kai'Sa, and I think she is a viable answer into Melio. But compositionally right now, I am worried for Pain. They've got a really good go-in composition. They are setting up Kai'Sa for success. But Furia just have so many CC tools, and they're going to lay out the red carpet. They're going to gift you with a big fat teddy bear. They're going to introduce you to the bounce house. And the problem is, Pain, I don't think they want all that fun. They just want to go and get the job done.
Feel a bit like a Pain Gaming traditional team fighting composition. Pain Gaming, a team that we know. Find a lead, they take it. Let's see if they can find it here. 2 teams with very different agendas in the standings, but very important ones all the same. Pain Gaming looking to keep even with that top 4 playoff bracket, and Furia themselves looking to see if they can stay in the race for playoffs at all. First game of the day is underway. Gentlemen, take it away.
We've quite a slate of games for you all here today, and it starts off here with Pain Gaming and Furia. Promises to be a fun one, and as we mentioned, the top 2 teams trying to bounce back from some tough losses here. But important to note, I think we're feeling very good about Pain despite the L on the record last Sunday. Very impressive showing from them, back and forth affair between themselves allowed to end last Sunday. I want to go to this top lane first and kind of take the opportunity with this little breath we can take at the start of the game. Walk me through this Jax and Rumble matchup and kind of how you see this playing out at different stages of the game.
Okay, so right from the get-go, Jax is actually a very impressive level 1 champion with the Counter-Strike against a lot of melee champions. Rumble kind of breaks that role because he just walks up to you, he can hit you with those electro harpoons, slow you down, and be able to walk in and out, choose his engages at level 1. Or you can go with the Flame Spitter if you just flat out want to damage the Jax. That's a little bit riskier, but it works even through that Counter-Strike. So I don't think the Jax is going to have as fun a lane. When we hit the mid game, that's Rumble's power spike as well. He's going to be able to set up a lot of really good ganks with this Wukong, not just Cyclone into Equalizer, but using Equalizer as an engage tool can be very effective as well. So I love this pick from Vital. Even if it's not an early pickup, it's a counter pick and should last for quite a while in lane. Now, if we get later on, so 2 or 3 items, that's when Jax is really going to start coming into his own. And Rumble does tend to fall off after that second point in the ultimate a little bit in terms of power spike. So if Weiser can last long enough, he'll be fine. And that feels like a Pain tradition as well. It's all about that late game for a lot of these compositions. Now, if Weiser can get a hit early, things are going to get really rough for Tao, because if you fall behind against that Jax, it only gets worse.
So that was the next question that I was going to ask here, is that, if you're Vital, of course, getting punished a little bit in the flash, forced out of this Rumble early on, that's going to bode well for Weiser. If you're Vital, RMC, are you more than happy to just take a relatively even laning phase and then just play for that mid-game spike on that first item?
Vital kind of has to do that now.
Sure, you don't have a choice anymore, but...
Yeah, he got chunked. And one thing to note, Vital took Ignite, not Teleport. So he wants that lane pressure early.
Yeah.
He did take Electro Harpoon at level 1. He went at the Flame Spitter. And Weiser adapted so well, he didn't start Counter-Strike. He started the W instead. Leap struck as soon as he hit that level 2 down to the bot lane.
Yeah, and that's the early engage for Pro Delta. They're going to catch out IU, force out the flash, but the Arctic Assault is saved. And that's first blood for Karaoke.
Oh dear. If you're a fan, you're a bit concerned right now. Your top side's losing, your bot side just got punished. And yes, I know we're talking a lot about top side because it's exciting. Let's touch on this bot lane a little bit, because I do think Kai'Sa is a pretty good pick into Melio. I do think there are ways you can just dash in, blow somebody up. And Melio, sure, you can disengage from the rel, but Melio's great at disengaging from one direction. As a Melio, put out's always going to be very risky because you're not very mobile. And now that both summoners are down for IU, Karaoke can revisit that lane anytime in the next 5 minutes and quite easily find a kill if IU and Zai are push past River.
And it's important to note, if you go back to round 2 of the split when these teams last met, it was Karaoke on the Wukong side of this matchup, and Karaoke got punished early on. Goot absolutely dominated the early game of that game, really put Karaoke in a hole on that Wukong, and Karaoke was largely ineffective throughout the entirety of that game, and that was a big part of how Furia was able to open up that lead, take over the game. This time around, we'll see if the shoe is on the other foot. Karaoke with a wonderful start, affecting his duo lane down on the bot side early on here as we check in on Tuts and Decado in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think we can move away from mid. Jets and Decado.
Go somewhere else. Go to the side lanes.
Yeah, they're both very technically proficient, and both the champions are pretty safe pre-6. Once we hit 6, maybe we get some action. Karaoke and Goot meeting up here. Keep in mind, this is 13.3 Wukong. He's not as strong as he used to be.
Yeah, Weiser seemingly happy to jump in with that counter-strike, but Tao able to step away that scrap shield move speed, getting him out of trouble. But Karaoke wants to stay here and maybe apply a little bit of pressure. Didn't have the information initially that Goot was there, does run into him in the rush. The trade goes fine, honestly, for both of these junglers. Meanwhile, the Furia bottom lane maintaining this push, that vision on the top side, understanding where Karaoke is, means, hey, we may not have that mobility, but we have the info to know we're safe to step forward.
Exactly. It's not the lane threat that's going to kill them pre-6. It's all about the jungle pressure instead. And great job from Zai and Ayu as well to put out all those wards to make sure that, hey, if Karaoke revisits bot lane, we'll see a Pro Delta using the sweeper, but didn't sweep the tri-bush. And that's really the one, but they need to be able to catch out that ward.
Yeah, Iron Zai will spot that out thanks to a well-placed ward. They know Karaoke is in the area. And the also nice thing, Goot down in the bot side does pick up that scuttle cap, so Iron Zai feeling plenty safe here to continue to crash these waves. It's going to be the reset here from B-Boy and Pro Delta. Something tells me Iron Zai going to look to crash this wave, possibly do the same.
Yeah, so I love the way you say Iron Zai, because you say it quickly, and in my ears, sometimes it almost sounds like you're saying Iron Zai.
Yep.
The I bot lane, I am down for that.
Ay, what a fight from Iron Zai. I'm going to hold on to that one. That one's going in the back pocket, RMC.
And you know what? You might get to pull it out this game, so because with the Ashe, one thing we did talk about was this is a utility ball lane, right? Ashe not known as the biggest carry. She can, you know, if she gets her items, be a menace late game because she can run people down. The Q is a attack speed steroid, but it's about setup for your jungle and potentially your mid, and even maybe your top laner if you are fighting around in objective. And Goot Tuts, one thing we haven't talked about is how much damage this team actually has. They don't have a true tank, but they've got damage in spades. So being able to land CC first is going to be key for Furia. And guess who's got the CC on this team? At least the long-range ones. It's Izai.
Yeah, well, and the funny thing is that you also have agency across the entire lineup to start fights, as that's going to be the ultimate drop from Batal in the top lane. He is going to need this flame spitter. Weiser flashing away. Batal feeling good in this fight, but not nearly good enough, because I think Weiser's going to take him down the bonk there with the lamppost from Weiser, and that's a wonderful start for the Jacks.
Yeah, we jokingly call the Equalizer the red carpet sometimes, but in this case, Weiser looked fabulous walking down. He even flashed away, and it looked kind of weird because that flash wasn't like a, I'm scared, I need to survive flash. That was a, let's buy some space, let me get my cooldowns up, and then what you gonna do, Batal? And because he flashed aggressively forward, Batal couldn't get away. There is no flash safety for Batal. There's no direction he can go for safety. And remember, we said before, if Jax gets ahead early, this lane only gets worse and worse for Rumble. Yay, so this is why Weiser right now feels like the best, or okay, I'm gonna say the best. Some people might say one of the best, but he's definitely up there. Yeah. Oh, what's this shot showing us? It's showing us Karaoke.
Okay. Karaoke was thinking about ganking that bottom lane. Wasn't able to get it done that time around, but still, IU with one death, courtesy of Karaoke's early map mobility, and it's looking good here so far. That arrow will not catch out the Sejuani, so no extra information there for the side of Furia. But as I was noting, the entire lineup of Furia has that go button, so that's the one thing that Pain has to be wary of, that if a single ultimate is available for Furia, they've got the tools to make things happen. And of course, the more that are online, the more dangerous this lineup becomes. So keep an eye on those ultimate cooldowns for the side of Fury. Of course, Pain with some playmaking potential of their own. Batal going to be spotted out here by Karaoke, up by this Rift Herald. Will get locked down momentarily, but in the 1v1, Batal not all that concerned.
Yeah, and Tuts and Goot able to apply the pressure so that Genkato couldn't roam out. I was a little bit worried that getting caught right there as a Rumble does mean you die, but some of the buffs were around the tankiness of Rumble, so gonna be fine. Wiser and Karaoke starting this one up, and yeah, so we're talking about team fighting Furia. We focus a lot on their laning so far, but really this composition is all about team fight. So till we see these skirmishes happen, they are still in it to win it.
Good initial charm there, and that's going to be the Glacial Prison over the wall. Good able to get out of trouble for the time being. Does use the clone.
Arrow?
That is going to be the Rift Herald secured, and the arrow from the bot lane will split the uprights. IU flashing over the wall to get away. Is not going to escape, though, from B-Voy. That's the Pain bot laner getting on the board. Meanwhile, Sai is going to be caught. The flash coming out to get under tower. Is it going to be enough? It will. A tower shot hits B-Voy. He will survive, and so will Sai.
Yeah, and for the IU, paying the Iron price for trying to help out his team, right? Because he threw out the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, the flash came through from Pain. They immediately just pulled the trigger on that kill, and unfortunately for Furia, we're talking about, hey, they still have team fighting in their back pocket. Well, they didn't get the team fight. Pain was in and out very quickly. Batal still has flash this time, able to use it.
Good flash there. Knows that the ultimate isn't available there for Karaoke, but he isn't going to need it if the Jax can get on top of you. Set up that passive. Here is the look at the bottom lane. IU farming up. The Enchanted Crystal Hero comes out, and Pro Delta says, okay, let's get in there. The Magnet Storm to lock them both down. B-Voy immediately following with the Killer Instinct, and while IU is able to flash over that wall, not enough to get out of trouble. Honestly, kind of feels like you got to hold that flash and just take the L there, ultimately.
Yeah, that one came back to bite them. Tuts might be in trouble. Oh, they couldn't manage.
Has to flash away there. So good job from Pro Delta making plays happen in the bottom lane. Early roam up to mid here to pull the flash there onto Tuts. And that means that Karaoke knows where that next target is going to be. If he can get Tuts in a vulnerable position in that mid lane, he can even maybe go for a dive here. He's going to drop Rift Herald in mid.
Yeah, Karaoke is full for choice right now. Which lane you want to gag? You blue flashes in all three lanes too.
Oh, Pain!
That's true. It should be Pain, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Pain game at this point. Furia starting to roam together, though. I think they've recognized that, hey, the laning's not going well for us in any lane. Even in the mid lane right now, sure, Tuts is holding even with Dinkido, but with losing pressure on the side lanes, Karaoke can now kind of say, you know what, I can focus on this mid lane. Everybody else, you're good. And as we say that, Tuts is aware something's wrong, but I don't think he knows exactly what is wrong.
This is the dive I was talking about. Arctic Assault over the wall, right into the Glacial Prison, easily. Chains with the charm from Dinkato, and down goes Tuts.
Okay, say what you want about Karaoke. When he has bad games, when Pain has bad games, often Karaoke doesn't look good. But when Karaoke is on form like this, Pain look immaculate. We talk about them as a late game team, as one of the most stable teams. They are now 4-0. Yeah, so I am scared for Furia, and Furia right now haven't been able to find any traction. I'm feeling a little bit desperate for Furia, and I just want to see him throwing out Enchanted Crystal arrows right now, left and right. Just pray something hits and make a play off of that, because if you keep sitting back right now, Pain are just going to run you right over.
Yeah, to be fair, most junglers look atrocious when their team is behind. It's a very difficult position to look good at when your team is behind the 8 ball here, and you know it is important to note it's a 2,500 gold lead here for Pain Gaming at the 12.5 minute mark, so they're in a wonderful position. Of course, they've gotten both of the early neutral objectives with Herald and a Drake to their name, so it's been all Pain Gaming here at the start of this one, and Furia looking to carve something out for themselves. This Chemtech Drake has spawned. Early prio for them. Wiser crashing a wave in the top lane, does not teleport available. Very important to note, and Batal moving towards this bot river, so could be a numbers advantage here for Furia.
Pain don't know where Batal is. Keep in mind the range of Equalizer and Goot kicking things off.
Yeah, that's going to be Goot getting in there. The red carpet has been laid down to force B-Boy and Karaoke out of here. Pro Delta backing away there as Tibbers is thrown down. Not going to be any kills for Furia, but it might just be enough for them to secure this Drake. But Pain looking to get back in there, and they know Batal's still here, but he's not nearly the same threat he was 30 seconds ago.
Oh, Karaoke tried to steal that. They had vision the entire time, and Pain playing with fire a little bit, literally, since Vital was still sitting mid, and you can tell the call from Pain has been Seed the Dragon. We don't care about Hextech. It's only second Drake. Wiser, take your time up top. And now Pain get to rotate their different members around. I'm kind of expecting to see Dinkido go to that long lane. That was a blind throw from Karaoke. Was it Karaoke who found the great catch over the wall the other time on the Sejuani?
I think so. Yeah. On the top side of River, where he did the predictive glacial prison over the wall to catch the Ari flash. I believe that was Karaoke.
Yeah, okay, so, you know what, props to Karaoke for trying. It worked once, it's a great highlight reel. It didn't work this time, and that's fine. Everybody will forget it. Instead, let's keep talking a little bit about Pain Gaming's pressure right now. They seed that Dragon, they don't care. Right now it's Hextech, and that's what they're going for. More importantly, they get that side lane pressure, and Vital now, yeah, you can't be picking Vital in these long extended lanes with them.
The weak side police have arrived, Vital. Wee woo, you're under arrest, sir, as Wiser will take his second kill. And look, before this individual play happened, Pain had already won that fight for Drake, right? They lose the Drake and they lose the flash out Karaoke, but the fact that Wiser gets multiple tower plates and first tower gold in a matchup that he was already winning in the 1v1, we talked about that, you know, early to mid game favoring the Rumble. Guess what? The clock has run out on Vital, unfortunately, in that straight 1v1.
Back up.
Yeah, Pro Delta getting onto the backline. Beautiful Magnus almost set B-Boy with the killer instinct. Kind of on the wrong side of the wall here. Was able to get some initial damage from the Acathian rain, but can't follow. He flashes over the wall, and he just does not care. Touches down. It's a double kill for B-Boy. He's looking for more. He's burning down, but he will still secure the triple kill. What a fight from Pain.
What an awkward fight, Yesho. The funniest moment for me was when B-Boy went over the wall with the kill instinct, was in the Dragon Pit, and went, oh, I'm Kaisa. I don't have the range to pop out the damage, but huge props to him, knowing when to flash back in as well. That has been an issue with Kaisa, and even in drop, I was worried about what Kaisa was going to do in the face of the Cyclone, in the face of Tibbers, all this hard CC. Well, just watch what B-Boy does. First of all, Pro Delta's been buying so much time, but by being over the wall, puts Furia in a really tough spot. Who do we burn the CC on? If we burn it on B-Boy, we lose this fight to Wiser. If we go for Wiser, B-Boy comes in and plays Janitor. I thought he was going to die sooner than this, with Tibbers whacking him the entire time, but just so much damage coming out, and he's able to clean house before he drops.
That was such a Chad flash there from B-Boy, recognizing the low health bars on multiple members there. Furia knowing, hey, my Jax is huge, right? If I go in here, I might die, but I'm going to take multiple people with me, and even there at the end is just able to get off the Acathian rain there onto Goot before getting taken out, so he finishes up the triple kill. And guess what? You know, we've talked about how the CBLOL Kaisa has not been impressive so far this split, unless your name is Trigo. You might be able to start adding B-Void to that list.
Okay, we need to put a qualifier on that. AP Kaisa has not been impressing us.
Fair.
B-Void was one of the first adopters of the AD Kaisa, even during the League of Static Shiv, and B-Void's AD build has been impressive, is working once again right now. Herald dropped into the top lane. Are we going to see a double pay, Yeso? Oh, pay!
Yeah, the equalizer will be dropped, but it isn't going to mean a thing here, because Wiser is just a problem at this point. And this is going to be the charge from the Rift Herald. And there it is, double pay. A lot of damage there onto that inhibitor tower, and big trouble here for Furia. They're going to try and catch out B-Boy here, but he's going to be able to run away, and Pro Delta here to zone. That is going to be the dash in from Good. Does get the knockup, but the Magnet Storm will prevent any further aggression. Patel on his way, but no equalizer available here. They're trying to slow down Karaoke. That's going to be the dash in from Goot. They're going to be able to finish off the jungler, and that is you finally on the board on this Ashe.
I was sweating for Fury on that one, yeah. So even watching them walk in, part of me is like, is Pain gonna try and turn this? Dinkido thought about moving up, walked a couple of steps, but the call from the team was, no, stay down there, take that turret. We can afford to lose one. We're also seeing the other side of Ashe. Not a ton of damage, even with that Kraken Slayer. It took quite a while to chunk through Karaoke. But once Ashe is on you, it's really hard to get her off. And so the rundown is slow, but it is sure.
Yeah, Ultimately, Pain may be able to win out, though, on this play. They, of course, give over a little bit of gold to that Ashe, but now you take that tier 1 bottom lane. Drake about to spawn, so this should be a relatively easy objective for Pain to pick up if they so choose, considering the towers they've been able to secure on the map. Wise are going to get up here and clean up this wave and prevent Furia from picking up some of that comeback gold here. And now Pain's starting to get your vision around Baron. RMC, go ahead.
You talk about the fact that Pain should have the dragon easy, and it should be theirs.
Sure.
And when I look at the gold, I fully agree with you. But when I look at the comp from Furia, I'm thinking, how does Furia come back into this? And it's still got to be a team fight for me. Which means that where are you going to pick this team fight? It's got to be a dragon, right? I know Furia's behind right now, sure, but their power spikes aren't the worst. In terms of the items right now, they're actually not that far behind. And even if they wait, they're not going to be catching up. So I actually kind of wish that Furia would go for this fight. If you lose, so be it, right? The game is what it is. But if you win, it puts you in a much better position. If you wait for Baron instead, sure, Baron will hurt Pain a lot more. But we've seen how Pain does the Baron dance, and they're very, very good at turning on a dime, or even worse, catching you en route to the Baron.
Yeah, I think the one hard part that you have to fight for Furia here is that's going to be Karaoke getting in onto IU, and he's going to go down. Another kill there for B-Void, and Furia will have to beat a retreat, and Pain has the inside track onto this tier 2, so this should be pretty easy for B-Void to pick up, though the equalizer does get dropped to clear out that main wave, but the Sejuani plenty tanky to help B-Void secure that tower. Yeah, you know the problem here, though, RMC, is the fact that with all of the towers Pain has been able to take, it's so easy for them to clear out vision and make these quadrants of Furious jungle so dark. They have a little bit of counterplay to that with the arrows from IU to provide them vision, but Pain has the tools to set up in these jungle quadrants and say, yeah, you want to come test this Baron? Well, I've got a Sejuani hiding in a brush ready to Glacial Prison your priority targets.
Yeah, and right now these Hex Gates feel like dumbwaiters. They're just serving food right up to Pain. Even with the vision you've got, it's so scary. What was you said earlier? You said the pick-off police, right? I think they're going to need a raise this game.
The weak side police.
The weak side police, pardon me. Okay, they're going to need a raise, because right now, all sides feel like weak side for Furia. There's nowhere safe for Batao and IU to go. Everywhere they go right now, no mobility. We saw the pick-off in the mid lane from Karaoke. And even Tuts. Like, Annie doesn't have mobility, so Furia can't get to the objectives to team fight. They can't win. What can they do, Yeso?
I don't know, and look, you pointed out that the Jax is looking to that kind of 2 to 3 item spike to really be his time to shine. Well, the problem is Weiser has already been a problem the first 20 minutes of this game, and I see a Divine Sunder and a Spirit Shojin in his inventory, so I think the problems are only going to get worse here. Furia looking to set up a bit of a death rush here, but outside of the brush, and Weiser is on the lane because he engaged with Pro Delta. That's going to be the jump onto the back line. The equalizer has been dropped, and Goot trying to keep him off of his team, and it's might just be enough to save them, but Weiser just gets into range to take out Goot. Batao has to run for the hills. The charm will land. It's the double kill for Weiser. Goodbye, IU, and now just Batao and Zai remain.
So my reaction for a second there was, how? How did Furia not lose more people? And the answer was they did. It just took a bit longer for Pain to do that. Weiser, oh my goodness. Look at the confidence on that monster right now. He walked just up under turret, taking that in. Vital walks up, Zai walks out. And hey, you guys don't look at explosions. Ward hop, don't look back.
Baron is going to go over to Pain here just after the 22-minute mark. Let's take a look back. Furia trying to set up around this topside river, but they get caught.
Yeah, and the thing was Weiser's flank as well. There was no way Furia were going to get out of this. They didn't have vision. And for the setup being as bad as it was, Furia did really well playing backwards. I thought they got out at this point. I thought they were safe with an Ashe, but Weiser flash leap strike forward. That man has no chill, and rightfully so. He wants his pound of flesh, and he's gonna get it one way or another. Furia, yeah, it's kind of rough, and I think Furia just need to go on a blaze of glory. They cannot be the reactive ones. They have to be actively looking forward for a fight. If that happens again, I want to see Furia just as 5-man pick a side and hammer that side.
Yeah, you know, we've started a little bit with only a few weeks remaining in the regular season talking about, you know, all-pro, right? Who are in our all-pro rosters. And I think, RMC, there's definitely a few positions where there's a discussion between a couple of different players here. As that's going to be the dog pile onto Weiser. He will go gold with about 100 health remaining, but that is going to be the shutdown there for Goo. So good money for that Wukong. But the problem is there's discussion in a few different positions between at least a couple of players. I'll tell you one position there is no discussion. It's top lane. Weiser, by a country mile, has been the best top laner in CBLOL this split, and I'm very confident that is not going to change over the next few weeks. He has been so impressive all split long.
I love the fact that you're making that point, Yeso, on the backdrop of Weiser dying as well, because he gets picked, and we still think he's the best.
I don't care.
Oh, Batao.
Batao just gets deleted there. It's a killing spree for Decado. Nowhere is safe outside of your base, Furia. It's time to crawl into the turtle shell, my friends, and hope and hold on for dear life.
Yes, you say nowhere safe outside the base, nowhere safe inside your base.
True.
Cracked one. They're going for another, and I am just waiting for them to push up that bot side. Once all inhibs are down, your double Nexus turrets will not save you there. Pain game. Can I just say as well, Batao did the right thing. He actually shot an Electro Harpoon into that bush. He got trolled by the Comet, because there's a small delay before the Comet gets fired. So Batao was like, oh, I threw that in there, Comet didn't proc, I'm safe, takes one step forward, sees the Comet comes out and goes, oh,
mistakes were made.
Yep.
Very unfortunate. Baron-empowered minion waves crashing into this bottom lane. Decado dashing over the wall, does land the charm. Dashing back over to safety. Didn't see anything he was confident in following up as of yet. Knows his team can buy time, right? You've got 2 inhibs down, so Super Minions spilling into the base already. They could take their time with this final inhibitor.
Focus off, it doesn't want to wait. He's
going over the wall. The equalizer is dropped, but it isn't going to mean anything. B-Boy taking out Tuts right now. Looking for more. Caught under the tower is going to be good. Weiser doesn't much care about it. He is going to get the engage in, and maybe they can turn this around. It is a double kill here for Batao as Weiser has fallen, and the inhibitor will live for the time being. Okay.
Yeah, but the inhibitor went out, and Pain, I thought they're just going to clean up that fight, but Furia shows signs of life in them yet. So under these turrets is still risky territory for Pain Gaming, especially if Furia are able to kind of set that up right and hopefully clear out the wave immediately, and props to the for being able to do that. Pain, though, they're just looking to reset, right? It was still a 2-for-1 when all was said and done, so they didn't lose too much. And if you look at who died as well, Weiser dropped, and you know what? Weiser didn't have much of a bounty on him anymore because he already got picked. So really, at the end of the day, Pain are still in incredible control, and that inhibitor on bot side, you know Pain is going to go for that. That's the easiest pickings on this map right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's about a 12,500 gold lead here for Pain at 26 minutes. That is an unreal gold lead for this point in the game, and of course they're now on soul point. So if we go another 4 minutes and 20 seconds, Pain will have the opportunity to give themselves a nice buff that will help them end this game. We'll see if Furia can make something happen in the interim, but that's going to be the charm onto Batao, and he instantly gets taken out. Furia having to beat the retreat.
If they can find another pick like that, so I don't know if we're going to see that 4-minute
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
I'm just laying it out there for the Furia fans. I'll give them a little bit of hope, you know? Come on. It's been a rough couple weeks.
If we want to give Furia fans some hope, so let's talk about the standings.
Sure.
Yeah, actually, I'll put that on hold because Pain is pushing in, and Batao still did for 15 seconds. There is a chance that Pain just off to end this? No. Okay, they're actually clearing out here. So, standings-wise for Furia, even if they lose this game, it's not necessarily the end of the world. They are tied 6th, 7th right now with K-Star, so things are very, very, very close. But also, if we look at the strength of schedule a little bit for Furia, they still have Kaboom and Ghost Riders to keep playing. I spoke right through that fight.
Yeah, Pro Delta's going to get right in here, and they're just going to delete Furia. They've got all the tools that they need here as Weiser has finally arrived. Forces the flag out of die. It doesn't mean a thing. Zai, the only remaining member here, Furia. The Nexus towers will fall. The Nexus soon to follow. They'll throw whatever poke they can into the fountain. That's going to be B-Boy diving, and will go down, but it won't much matter. Pain take the win over